Hello, algebra student, and welcome to Linear Functions, Part 2. The goal of this lesson is to use a linear equation, and we'll be using the same linear equation throughout the entire problem. But through that linear equation, we're going to answer several questions that will be used to help us perhaps graph the line at a future time. So what we're going to do on each problem is we're going to find the intercepts, the x-intercept and the y-intercept, and then we're going to put some coordinates into the equation and determine whether or not we have a line or just if that particular point is on the line. So that's how we're going to do this. All right? So let's look at the equation we're going to be using throughout this entire video. The equation we're going to use is y equals negative 2x plus 10. So this is the equation we'll be using throughout the entire video. Okay? Now, on the sheet that you'll have, what you're going to be doing is you're going to have to find the x-intercept and the y-intercept. So what we're going to do is, to find it, we're going to start off by, of course, drawing a t-table or a t-chart. And on one side of the table, you're going to have the x-intercept. Remember, abbreviate that as x, int, and then the y-intercept, y-int. Now, remember that the x-intercept is found by taking the y and replacing it with a 0. Okay? The y-intercept is found by replacing the x with a 0. Okay? So we have to find the intercepts for this equation. Now, to make things a little easy, we're going to start off by finding the y-intercept. Okay? So we're going to find the y-intercept for this equation. And to do that, we're just going to replace the 0 with x. So that means our equation is written as y equals negative 2, parentheses 0, because x is 0, plus 10. Okay? Well, if we can simplify this, we know that negative 2 times 0 is just 0. So that cancels out. So all we have left is y equals 10. Which means that our ordered pair for this equation, for this y-intercept, would be 0, 10. Okay? So the y-intercept for this equation is 0, 10. Now let's go back to the x-intercept. The x-intercept, remember, is found by doing y equals 0. So we're going to rewrite the equation y equals negative 2x plus 10 with 0 as our y. So that means we're going to have 0 equals negative 2x plus 10. Okay? Now we have to solve for x. And to solve for x, what we're going to do is we're going to draw our bridge, just like this. All right? And we're going to move things around so that x is by itself. And to do that, we're going to take the x, we're going to take the 10 that's on the right side, and we're going to subtract it from that side. So we're going to subtract 10 on each side. Okay? Because the 10s, the plus 10 and the minus 10 on the right side are going to cancel out, so we're just going to zero that out. And then we got 0 minus 10, which is a negative 10, equals negative 2x. Just bring everything else down. Okay? And then to get x by itself, we see that negative 2x means negative 2 times x, so we have to do the opposite of that, which is divide. So we divide both sides by a negative 2. And then the negative 2's on the right side are going to cancel out. That's going to leave us with x on this side equals a negative 10 divided by negative 2. And negative divided by negative is a positive, so it'll be positive 5. And therefore, the point for the x-intercept would be 5, 0. Okay? So, again, on all the equations that you'll be doing, you will have to do the x and y intercepts. That's the first two things that you'll be doing. Okay? All right? So this should have been a review, finding the x-intercept and the y-intercept. Now it's time for us to go to a different kind of question. So let's go to that question now. All right? So we see that we're doing the same equation, y equals negative 2x plus 10. And what we're going to do is we're trying to find out if the point 9, negative 8 is on the line. To determine if it's on the line, all we have to do is plug in that point 9, negative 8 into the equation. Remember, 9 is our x, and negative 8 is our y. So we're going to place these numbers or these values into our equation. And to do that, we're just going to replace the y with negative 8 equals negative 2, parentheses 9 plus 10. All right? Now, I really shouldn't put an equal sign here because we don't know yet if it's equal. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to put a question mark or a blank. I'll put a question mark, okay, with a blank. And we got to simplify each side. So we know that this is negative 8 over here. We still have a blank. And then we're going to do negative 2 times 9, which is a negative 18, plus 10. All right? Then we just simplify what negative 18 plus 10 is. And negative 18 plus 10 is a negative 8. So since negative 8 is appearing on both sides of the equal sign, or both sides of this blank, I should say, we know that they are equal. And since the numbers here are equal, then the question is 9 negative 8 on the line? The answer would be yes. Okay? All right? So basically, if you see an equal sign, or if you see that that the numbers on both sides are equal, then you know it's on the line. If it's not, of course, then that means it is not on the line. All right? So that's how you do problems like this. So if it's asking if it's on the line, then you just place the values into the equation. Now for this problem, we're trying to find out the value of y in this problem. So 17 comma y is our point that is on the line. So what we must do is we must use the same equation as we did before to find the value of y. So we're going to replace the value of x, because the 17 that's here, or the 17 that's here, is going to be our x, and this is our y. So we're going to rewrite the equation as y equals negative 2 times 17 plus 10. Okay? So what we're going to do is we're just going to figure out what this is by multiplying negative 2 times 17, which is a negative 34, plus 10. And negative 34 plus 10 is a negative 24. So all we did was that since x was already given to us, we just put it into the equation and found the y, which in this case I said is negative 24. So the point that this line passes through with x is 17 would be 17 comma negative 24. Okay? Now let's reverse it and say we don't have the x. So with this problem, we don't have the x. Y equals negative 2x plus 10 is our original equation, and this time we have x comma negative 20. So we're going to replace the y this time because we have the y, and this is our x. So we're going to replace the y with negative 20. So it's going to be a negative 20 equals negative 2x plus 10. Okay? And now we just have to solve for x. And the way we'll do that is we'll just draw our bridge here. Okay? And we're going to move the 10 over from the right side by subtracting the 10 to each side. That's going to be negative 20 minus 10, which is a negative 30, because they're both negative, so you just add the two numbers and keep the sign, equals, this cancels out, the 10s over here cancel out, leaving us with a negative 2x. Okay, so negative 30 equals negative 2x. Now, continue the problem over here. We got negative 30 equals negative 2x. And to get x by itself, we must divide both sides by negative 2. So the negative 2's on the right side cancel out. And that's going to get us with x equal to negative 30 divided by negative 2, which gives us a positive, that's a positive 15. Because a negative divided by a negative is a positive. So x is equal to 15. So, again, the line passes through the point where y equals negative 20, that point that it passes through would be 15, comma, negative 20. And that's our answer for this problem.